Not too long ago, we talked about Domino's disastrous Bad Andy campaign. Here, Domino's was so focused on trying to make a distinct and recognizable mascot that they kind of forgot to make the commercials actually good. Most people seem to find the Andy character annoying and useless. It ended up causing some damage to the Domino's brand, so the character was shelved and never discussed again. Well, this isn't a Domino's exclusive issue. There are tons of ad campaigns that have the exact same effect as this. In fact, I'd say there are even worse ones like the one we're going to be discussing today. To me, there is no bigger example of Bad Andy syndrome than with the Quizno Spongmonkeys. Oh boy. You remember these, don't you? They've been a meme on the internet for quite a while now, and just by looking at them, I think you can see why. And if you've never seen them before, then here! We're gonna show you a few clips so you can bask in their overall beauty.
The Quizno subs! They are tasty, they are crunchy, they are warm because they toast them! They got a pepper bar! Subs are $1 off! When you bring in a coupon! For things to eat or your changes!
Yeah, those were great, weren't they? Just totally made you want to go and buy Quiznos. I mean, if there's even one around you, they're kind of not as much of a thing anymore. In fact, come to think of it, there's not even one in my town anymore, so yeah. Many have cited these as some of the worst mascots of all time, especially for the fast food industry. Personally, I have to agree. Let me tell you why. These are the Quizno Spongmonkeys, Quizno's worst ad campaign. First, a little history. The Spongmonkeys didn't start off at Quiznos, they actually started on the internet, as all good things do. Their first appearance was in a comedy music video on the website rathergood.com. Here, the Spongmonkeys sang about how much they loved the moon. Similarly to the infamous Quiznos ad campaign, the song was loud, screechy, and barely had a tune. Can you tell that it was all improvised?
We like the moon! 'Cause it is close to us! We like the moon!
Sounds like the perfect video to adapt into a Quiznos marketing campaign, right? According to Quiznos chief marketing officer, the company wanted a quote-unquote dramatic ad to catch people's attention. Personally, I think he used the wrong word. I think what he was trying to say was he wanted something startling. This isn't a sarcastic jab at the Spongmonkeys either. In theory, the strange songs that the Spongmonkeys would sing combined with their bizarre animation would be a perfect fit for this. They're distinct, they're unique, and they'd most certainly catch your attention. However, there were a few problems with this plan, the first being that the Spongmonkeys were too niche of a subject to make into a nationwide mainstream ad campaign. Sure, the video did decently online, garnering 150,000 views in no time at all. Even so, the people in the online video crowd aren't exactly the same people in the mainstream TV one. That's why whenever network executives get a hold of whatever YouTube content creators out there and then try to slap their thing on mainstream TV, it almost never works out. And in the case of the Quizno Spongmonkeys, it's no different. I mean, think about it. If you were a 70-year-old who has almost no familiarity with the internet or its humor, and you turn the TV on to see these ads, would you be compelled to go to Quiznos? No, I don't think so. In fact, you might even get freaked out at what you're seeing and hearing. Also, if you were, say, a parent and you were watching TV waiting for some fast food ad to come on to strike you and make you feel like you're in the mood to go out and get something for the family, would this sway you at all? Chances are, probably not. It doesn't help that the songs are really annoying. Intentionally so, but that doesn't make them any better. They're still obnoxious. These are fine for an online video that's supposed to make people laugh or at least make them scratch their heads in confusion. It's made purely for entertainment and has no other goal. A commercial of this nature is supposed to be entertaining, but it's also supposed to be enticing. Having ugly-looking creatures singing off-key, non-rhyming songs is not enticing to the general public. Going back to the internet crowd, sure, maybe they found this interesting and maybe they wanted to go to Quiznos. But this was back in the early 2000s. The internet didn't dominate mainstream culture like it does today. They weren't going to be enough to make Quiznos successful, nor were they the kind of people that Quiznos wanted. At least entirely. Surely there had to have been at least one better option to make into your ad campaign. At least one, right? Something? Anything? Did they really just find this weird video and think that it would be the best thing to sell sandwiches? Did they really want people to think of these when they thought of Quiznos? I hate to steal a line from Rowdy C from TV Trash. Actually, I don't. He's awesome. Go check him out. But I have to ask, did Subway ever send Quiznos a thank you note? For the sake of comparison, let's take a look at a niche ad campaign that actually got it right. These ones are from the UK, but they still count. You might remember these from the Weird British Advertisement series, specifically episode 1, but these are the Monster Munch Monsters. Sure, these came from a different time, and their first ad wasn't great. But despite that, the rest of the ads were actually pretty good. They had a weird style, strange scenarios, and were very different than what the other companies were doing at the time. At the same time, they were able to have charming characters, an appealing tone, and most importantly, they make the product they're shilling look quite appealing. If I was watching TV and these came on, I'd be confused because I don't live in the UK, so why am I getting some really old UK ads on my TV? But then after I got over that shock, I would actually be quite happy. In fact, I might even look forward to these coming on again in the future. Just not that first one again, because that was a lot to handle. The Spongmonkeys weren't able to do this. Any of this. According to an article from Mash.com, Quiznos got about 30,000 calls about these things in the first week they aired. Not many of them were positive either. These guys didn't have a lot of fans. The people that ran the Quiznos franchise stores especially were not happy. One Alabama store owner was so sick of people talking about these guys that they posted a sign in their front window denouncing the Spongmonkeys entirely. It got that bad. And I'm sure that wasn't an isolated incident either. Much like Bad Andy, the general dislike for the characters caused the ads to miss their mark entirely and not have the effect that they desired. Sales did not improve. Also like Bad Andy, the Spongmonkeys were discontinued pretty quickly in favor of product-focused marketing. Almost like making such a niche and subjectively unappealing character be the focus of your marketing was a bad idea, but who could have seen that coming, am I right? To be fair though, Quiznos doesn't have a great track record when it comes to ads. They're the same people that tried to rip the E-Trade baby off and ended up doing it way, way worse. It's ad campaigns like these that really baffle me. It's like, how did you not know this was gonna happen? Who thought that this was gonna work? It's not even a case of like Andy, where on paper it could have worked, it just needed a better writing team. The Spongmonkeys were the product of the internet, and that's where they should have stayed. Maybe you could try them today now that the internet's more of a bigger thing, and I guess it would have a better reception. But I still don't think it would have been good. They still break a lot of advertising rules. They're distinct in the worst ways, they're unappealing, and they make you think worse about the product or place that they're advertising. That's not good. You don't want to be associated with things like these. I'd say Quiznos got the message and eventually shaped up like Domino's did, but no, they didn't. But that's a story for another day. With ads like these, it's no wonder why Quiznos is barely around these days. That and they discontinued my favorite bread, so yeah. I always liked Subway better anyways, just saying. Well folks, thanks for watching the video. What'd you guys think? Have you seen the Spongmonkeys ad? Were you like me and watching football and then these things came on and you being a little kid were like, what? Really? Or, hey, do you actually like them? Comment below and let us know because we are always excited to hear what you guys have to say. I guess I'm going back to the original outro, but oh well. Now, friends, it's time for the comment of the day. Today's comment of the day goes to Bing Bang Bot. Another possible reason that the movie, they're talking about Inside Out by the way, might not be as well remembered is there are probably more people now who think that the movie isn't as good as they did when it first came out. I myself really enjoyed the movie when it came out, but now, I see it as one of Pixar's lesser movies, and I'm probably not alone on this. That's not to say that the movie is bad, and it's highly possible that it's better than I remember it being, but that still does not take away from the fact that I don't like the movie as much as I did when it came out. I'm sort of in the same boat personally. I mean, when it first came out, I heralded it as like the best Pixar movie ever, and it was one of my favorite films of all time. But now, when you stack it up against, say, Finding Nemo, or The Incredibles, or Toy Story 2, I mean, it's good. It's just not as good as the Pixar greats. But also, to be fair, you can probably never recapture that. Coco came close. That was really good, but now, with all the other movies they're making these days, definitely not. Lightyear was hot garbage, just saying. But now it's time to thank our Patreon executive producers, Leaf Razor, Valkyria, Whoop-Doo, MD the Dude, Blackjack, Nightingale Wednesday Nightmare, Unkale, Manny Paredes, Edward Haas, HR Hoffman, Who Else But Zane, and YouTube Milkwad. If you too would like your name read at the end of every Media Mementos video, then consider donating to our Patreon, which has a link in the description below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright? Stay beautiful.